I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone. Eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones, and you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash the scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they seeing double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
Yeah. We are back. We're back. Just going to give everybody some time to get in. Make sure that you're liking, sharing, and commenting on whatever platform you're on, whether it be Facebook, Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely make sure you're tapping in. We want to make sure that we give everybody a big shout out. He said, y'all got to beat the Titans and shut those mayo chugging mongrels up. You know what? After what I saw last night, we definitely need to beat them because that is top tier trench work. Like that is absolute trench work. Like it's ridiculous.
I have to go back and watch this because apparently I've missed like the greatest thing to ever happen.
Oh no! The man's went literally and just had a jar, and he just had a spoon, and everybody just kind of stopped and was just like, "What the hell is that?" And then he picked it up, and then he zoom into the camera, and all he shows is this jar of Hellman's mayonnaise, and he's eating it by the spoonful.
And he's a Titans fan.
Yes.
Oh no.
Titans Wonder. If you're watching, shout out to you, Titans Wonder, because we've been talking about this for years, and they swear up and down that there is no connection between Titans fans and mayonnaise. And this year alone, we've gotten Will Levis getting an endorsement contract from Hellman's, and you just casually eating it like it's freaking a crunching bunch. So I mean, it's
Oh wow.
Yeah, nasty.
He had a big ass jar.
Yeah, but economy size, like that's a Sam's Club jar. And you could tell that he's done this before because he's gripping it one hand. Like I don't know if you know how big those mayonnaise jars are that you get from Sam's Club and Costco, but if you can grip those with one hand, you have way too much experience randomly eating mayonnaise out of a jar.
That's crazy.
Yes. Costa, what's going on? Costa, thank you for tapping in. That is Acosta Medrano, actually from our brothers over there at the Sick Podcast, Anvil Show. Make sure that you tune into them. I believe it's on Wednesdays. Yeah, I believe so. So, yep. And then Titans Mayo allegations confirmed. Yes. And everybody, you do see that right. That is Josh Allen. Now, is it Josh Allen you think it is? Maybe. Use your imagination. We don't really give a damn. So, you know what? Yes. But you know what? It's the most important Josh Allen that we know. And we're just going to keep it at that.
Fair enough.
That's the one Josh Allen that's not overrated. But that's a talk for another day.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a talk for another day. But in the meantime, man, you know what? Let's go on ahead. Let's go on ahead and get it started. All right. Welcome back to the HorseShoe Mob Podcast, where we're going over everything Colts, and then sprinkling some Titan slander in there, especially with the recent Mayo allegations. But you know what? We'll go ahead and get to that in a second. Before we do, let's go ahead and get to the guys, man. Let's get to the guys. We have with us the silent assassin. The guy who doesn't say many words, but generally he's going to make you feel stupid in ways that you never knew that you could feel stupid. And he's going to do it just being quiet. Right, Austin? Austin Cook, everybody.
Yeah. What's up? I'm Austin.
Appreciate you. Then we have with us the senior. Whether it's Spanish or whether it's the normal version, you know what? Use your imagination, okay? But we got with us the Josh Senior. How's it going tonight, fella?
What's good, everybody? I'm the nicer gentleman of the four.
Oh, he bullshitting already. All right, he's lying through his teeth. Right. How dare you, sir?
You didn't do it with confidence. You did it with such
Yeah, it was just like I'm the nicest of the four. We just be like, that's how we know that you're not.
You struggled to the word nicest, like you.
Yeah, he was like the nicest stuff. If you don't get your goddamn, like, come on, bruh. No. All right, and then we have with us. I'm gonna say the better of two versions of Harish. All right, we have with us the man, the myth, the legend, the co-host of the Texans or the Texas fan battle. Ooh, my God, I apologize. That was wrong of me.
And this is why I say I'm the nicer.
No, don't do that because
that is a plus one.
Absolutely not.
At least you know a podcast.
We have with us also known as Good Harish Nukala.
Hey, it's 8:49 p.m. and OU still sucks. Let's go, baby.
You know what? Let's just go with that. But how's everybody feeling, man? How's everybody feeling? I know that we had a pretty tough game on Sunday, but how are we feeling 48 hours later?
Great. It's think about takeaways, right?
Yeah.
And we won't have the segment tonight, but I did provide a name last week that I wanted to apologize to. I want to apologize right now, like at this moment, and as we speak. I want to apologize to Anthony Richardson. Listen.
Ooh.
That's growth, man. That's growth. Next up, it'll be Pittman. Go ahead.
I don't know who that is, but I'll apologize to Michael Pittman when Chris Ballard finally puts him in a space to be successful. But that's the story for a different day. But no, I was a CJ Stroud guy. I wanted CJ Stroud well into the season when I knew the season was lost. But I was not happy with the Anthony Richardson decision. Not like it was really a decision to make because that's all there was. But I've been very impressed with Anthony Richardson and just the growth that he has had, and really just a short amount of time. If you think about it, right? First game he actually finishes. He doesn't play last week. He comes out early in the two previous weeks before that. So this is really his first full game. And just some of the throws this guy made to get this team back into the game, simply unreal. And then just the athleticism is showing off with the 2-point conversion. We'll talk about that. But I'm very happy. I'm excited to continue to see how he grows. And it just further proves how Shane Steichen was the right fit, if you will, to make sure he, just somebody that puts Anthony Richardson in a place to succeed. So, very excited, very, very excited. And I apologize, AR5, for not believing in you. I will be purchasing my Anthony Richardson jersey here very soon.
Ooh!
I like it, man. Welcome to the club.
You know what? I am very, very happy for your growth, Harish, because under any other circumstance, we wouldn't have gotten that. Like, we wouldn't have gotten that. I'm very, matter of fact, everybody give him a round of applause, because honestly, it's just like I feel very, very happy about that. Like that makes my soul happy. All right. We're gonna get to a couple comments, then we're gonna get right into it. But
there go the mayo man right there.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's him?
Yes.
Toasting spoon. Oh God, no! I know he's actually. Oh gosh! Can we take this comment off the board? This is really making me throw it. Like, yeah, it's not healthy for me. That's kind of awkward. I don't think we can appropriate on this channel what I would. I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah, Costa said you better recognize her. That's what he said to you, Harish. Right, but you know what? Let's get into it. And before we do, make sure that you are visiting www.fanbattlesports.com, where you'll be able to see everything coming out, whether it's articles, I believe there's be able to see clips on there. You can go ahead and see some of our past episodes. I think I might drop an article tomorrow. I might, unless Josh decides that he's going to drop 2 in one day.
Man, I've been busy, man. I'm sorry, I've been kind of behind, man. But yeah, I probably got. I can put one out.
That's fair. That's fair. I can do one. I can do one. We're still waiting on Austin stuff. So yes. So so then, without further ado, talking about the game Sunday. Now, mind you, I think this was a game that kind of didn't know about because you don't know what shape the Rams are in. I mean, they just came off of a primetime battle with the Bengals. They had their first 2 games against, division opponents. So you really didn't know exactly what to do. I mean, honestly, they had pretty much a similar first couple games or first few games to us. First 2 games that were division, and then the third game was against an AFC North opponent, right? So, I mean, when it comes down to it, we didn't know what to expect coming into it. So, I mean, if we can, like I said, and everybody's going to get a chance to, but Ruiz, kick us off. How did this game start out?
Man, the one thing that came to mind as the game was starting out and you see everything become flat, the defense struggled. I was like, this looks, and just stay with me here, right? Just stay with me. This looks like every game we saw last year for Frank Reich.
Yeah.
It had every symptom possible of what every game looked like for 18 weeks last year. Really 19 weeks because of the bye week. And, it kind of started from the get-go. Rams come straight down the field right off the opening kickoff. And honestly, they bully the defense and score a touchdown on the first drive, right?
Yeah.
Puka Nacua, that guy, cocooned out of his little butterfly and he turned into a butterfly, and that dude was flying all over the place. They had no answers for him, and they kind of controlled him later on in the game. Matt Stafford was Super Bowl Matt Stafford. They were running the rock really well, which I thought was the most surprising because that's where the strength of the defensive line was.
Yeah.
And you go back and look at it, the defensive line didn't get really much of a push pretty much most of the game, if not all of the game. There were moments, but if you look at bigger chunks of the game, they really didn't get a lot of push on the line. I actually thought that's where we had a strength that we would be able to exploit to our favor, but it didn't turn out that way. So the team pretty much struggled the entire first half. A couple missed field goals, some opportunities that you missed. You go into the half, you don't get any points, 28-3. And then just second fire, just lightning in the bottle, man. That was just some of the most unreal stuff I've seen from a Colts quarterback from a highlight reel perspective, right? Anthony Richardson's ability to, make plays, run the ball and slide. I thought that was awesome. I was like, man, this guy learned how to slide in basically 2.5 quarters. This is great.
Yeah. Considering that he hadn't been doing that prior to, we saw him take some hits and go through the ups and downs, but to be able to see it was that was good. So and so to talk to that point, and I'm gonna go to Josh now. What when you see coming out of the half, right? Because it's just you're at a deficit, you haven't scored anything. Right. I mean, to that point, AR had been completing passes, but there wasn't anything that showed that there was any type of progression or anything actually good to build on. So where do you think that shift was when it came to how they went into that second half?
It seemed like everything that wasn't working in the first half worked in the second half, such as the run game. The run game was non-existent in the first half, but it was in the second half, including AR. He did get some runs in the first quarter where one he fumbled on, but he was, like you said, he was learning to. I guess he made in-game adjustments. He figured out how the Rams were going to play him. Likewise with the head coach, he made adjustments, and he schemed his players open. I mean, you see Ogletree, you see Mo Alley Cox. You see, other players help their quarterback out. Josh Downs had a big catch. And it's like they moved. Like it was fast paced. Like you said, they down 23-0. So a score, makes it much closer. What was surprising to me was when they scored, they went for 2 instead of a field goal. So it was like they was trying to get back much quicker. It took a long time because we didn't tie the game up until like 2 minutes left of the game. But it shows like the coach been saying how the team the past couple weeks been showing them being resilient. They fought back and they was able to stop the Rams. It was like 23 unanswered points. Calls Stafford to turn the ball over. Shout out to Kenny Moore, who he played that play very well. You couldn't play any better than that. Like you said, like Harish was saying with the defense didn't show up in the first half, but they show up in the second half up until overtime where they just out of gas. I've said it, they ran out of gas. They did everything to get back in the game, and then for that OT, they just got cooked. And Puka just, called game. So, it's a learning curve. We just can't get in that hole like that, be down 23-0 and have to fight back against an experienced team. We forget they won a Super Bowl 2-3 years ago. Well, not 2-3, about 4 years ago. They're still experienced team. So, and Aaron Donald's still the same. You see what he did to Freeland, to Freeland, damn near.
Aaron Donald does that to guys that are proven. That's just who Aaron Donald is. He's just disruptive.
Yes. Like that's. Has it really been 4 years since the Rams have won the Super Bowl? I thought it only been 2.
No, it was 2 years ago.
Okay,
2 years ago. So yeah.
No, I think you're thinking. You might be thinking. Well, actually, no, that was well before that. But I was talking about when they went to the Super Bowl with Todd Gurley and them. But that was even before the Chiefs won it.
Yeah, when they went with Todd Gurley,
they were with Jared Goff. I forgot about that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They scored like 3 points, and Patriots won like 10-3 or something like that.
It was a very low scoring, boring game. So yeah, but then moving on, Austin. Now, like I said, we saw that it was a shift, right? So I'm gonna say, how much of that do we put on Steichen being able to adjust, and how much of that do we put on AR being able to, I'm going to say, just kind of like just be more of that electric player?
Yeah, so obviously Steichen had a big to do with that. I feel like at halftime he changed up how they were playing the whole game, but AR's just athletic ability to go make some of the runs he was making, make some of the throws he was making, obviously played a big deal into that as well. We wouldn't have came back in that game without AR or without Steichen.
Yeah.
So you could give both of them a lot of the credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've talked about this week in and week out. I think this was the first time that we experienced this kind of adversity, because the Jags game was kind of like a late game thing. We kind of battled with the Ravens. With the Texans, it was a little bit more kind of clear. But this was the first game where it's just like you got to see what AR does against a veteran quarterback, against a team that's a well-known team that's been doing this for a while. So as far as the actual game went, it kind of it gave us a little bit more, or it kind of gave us a little bit cause for concern. But this kind of leads me to my next one, and since we were just talking to you, Austin, I'll start off with you on this one as well. When it came to AR, right? Because we can talk about how electric, the talent, whatever it is, but just getting down to what it was, right? And I really want you to kind of you can either pick one or the other, or you can even go with the combination. But what do we make of the second half? Just strictly the second half of when AR was playing. Because mind you, it's just like the Rams, they're throwing the same defenses out there. They're doing pretty much the same thing. But what do you make of what he was actually able to do?
Yeah. You have to think it was adaptation. Obviously, like he looked like our best player in the second half. Like,
Yeah.
and that's a rookie quarterback, his third start. I just think he adapted to what Shane Steichen told him in the locker room, or whatever happened in the locker room. He saw they were blitzing. We had our offensive line was hurt, so they were getting to him fast. So he had to roll out faster. He had to get the ball out faster. Had to make quicker decisions. And he made some really good throws down the field that we haven't seen yet until this past game. And so, I mean, it was adaptation, but also some of those plays he was making was kind of heroic ball.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, like you said, the kid down 23-0 at half. You know, he had to adapt to the outcome, the current outcome of the game, and he made those plays. You know, he started with the Mo Cox play where he was stepping out the pocket. He was like a sidearm type throw to Mo Cox that he made the play. He made the play, the ending result of that play by bulldozing the tight end, or not tight end, the safeties and cornerbacks to get in the end zone. That just shows, you know, again, being resilient. He wanted to make that play. I mean, sometimes he can play hero ball. That's kind of his ammo. But he adapted to what the defense was giving him, which at the time it wasn't giving him anything. But he was getting those longer passes with like Mo Cox, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Ogletree, Michael Pittman. Like everybody was a part of that offense and making those plays. So he adapted very well to what was given, and it was hard for them. It was hard for the Rams to stop that up until forcing overtime. I mean, the man got 21 years old. I mean, you don't usually get this until year 3. You know, he's doing it in his third game. So I mean, he didn't get to see that against the Ravens, where Gardner saw that. Gardner got those hits from Kyle Hamilton. He didn't get that. He didn't get that experience. No team blitzed that much in his first game or second game. The Texans didn't do it, or Jacksonville. So having the Rams where they got a guy at the line of scrimmage and Aaron Donald, that tested him a lot. He adapted very well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then Reese, we'll go ahead and round it out with you, because like I said, I know that this is talking about a not controversial, but I'm just going to say, talking about a guy who coming into the season, and you can attest to this, I think we all heard it, people wanted somebody more athletic. You said that you wanted CJ Stroud, and then we knew that we were getting the most athletic QB in the draft, but we all, and myself included, we all said that it was going to take a while in terms of him and his progression. And here we are just kind of watching it on the fly, where we're like, yeah, he's progressing, but he's progressing at a rate like they were talking, 2-3 years down the line. And I mean, he's already looking like he's getting better with more experience. So like, in your opinion, it's just like, is he truly adapting to the game, or is he just playing hero ball where he's just like, listen, I'm just going to just make these throws and see what happens?
Yeah, I feel like if you try to play hero ball in the NFL, it'll be obvious how much of a failure that would be, right? Now, I think it's a little bit of, with that being said, I think it's a little bit of both. And stay with me here. I think the adaptiveness is basically the ability of Shane and him being able to put together some call plays in a way to put Anthony Richardson in a place to succeed. We talk about this every week. I feel like Shane does such a great job of putting players in a place to succeed, or giving them the opportunity to do so, right? But I think the heroic piece of this is Anthony Richardson's athletic ability. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
You take a look at the throw that he made to Mo Alley Cox, who finally caught his first pass of his career.
First off, that's not the first pass of his career.
I was like, whoa.
I knew as soon as I thought he was going to say first TD of the season, but no, he definitely said first catch of his career, because
obviously that was a joke, but
yeah,
Mo Alley Cox can't catch a break. So anyway, But you look at that throw, right? That's basically Anthony Richardson being chased by Aaron Donald, throwing on the run with, leaning forward with the powerful arm that he has, and he throws it right on the money.
Yeah.
The other play is the 2-point conversion where Anthony Richardson almost looks like he's falling over, somehow maintains his balance, switches the ball left, right, and throws it left-handed to a wide open, I think, Zach Moss for that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, so that one, yep. So that one, and was like, I'm gonna say, to me, outside of everything that we saw the Aaron Donald pass where it's just like he basically flicked it with his wrist and he got 40 yards downfield. I mean, like for him to be able to make that pass on the 2-point conversion where the pocket completely collapsed on him, he escapes being 6'4", 255, and yet while running towards the sideline, he's able to just throw the ball to Zach Moss, basically just like almost like a sidearm, side eye type of thing. It's almost scary.
Yeah.
He kind of pushed the throw, yeah.
It's almost scary because it's just like these aren't passes that somebody who, 3-4 months ago we were hearing was green and was a raw prospect and needed 2 to 3 years. Like, these are passes where, you're not supposed to be making those. And we hear it like he's not supposed to be making these passes, but he is.
Right. Yeah, it's just the level of play that we're seeing from him is definitely something I didn't expect 3 games into the season of his rookie year. I think it is a little bit of both, but I think his heroics are more attributed to his athleticism versus him trying to make something happen and hoping that it sticks.
Yeah, he's not forcing it. He's not forcing any passes or any throws.
It's not. And you know what? I'm going to say, because like I said, we can just kind of keep on talking about the whole AR thing, because I think the biggest, this game was probably the biggest analogy that we've seen in terms of Anthony Richardson with what they're saying that he was supposed to do as opposed to what he can do. Because, I mean, there were numerous completions where he is just, being able to roll out of the pocket. He's able to throw on the run. He's able to just stand tall. And like I said, Aaron Donald is a big dude. Like, he's a monster.
And fast.
He's fast. And yet, it's like it looked like there were times where he kind of had to exert himself a little bit, whereas normally he can pretty much just impose his will from wherever he's at. And I think the biggest thing with watching him was that, AR was definitely much, much bigger than what he was supposed to do. But I think the biggest thing was safety, because I think we also talked about it early on. This was the first game we actually saw him slide on numerous occasions. And it was sliding in situations where he would have potentially went and tried to maybe go for an extra few yards and then put himself in harm's way. And that's another thing that, you kind of learn on the fly, because I think it's just like he was out of game 2, because of the fact that he was running and then he got hit on a run. And here we are in week 4, him not playing a whole, I'm going to say 7 quarters of football. And he looked like he'd been doing it all along. So I'm going to say, and like I said, I keep the floor open to everybody. Like, is this progression that we're seeing, is this him basically evolving before us? Is it Shane drawing up a game plan where he knows his quarterback or he knows exactly what to do? Like what do we make of how he's progressing in these spaces now?
I think it's a mix of both. Like, him with Shane Steichen is like a match made in heaven. We've said whenever we hired Shane that he needs a good mobile quarterback, and he's proved that he is good with Anthony Richardson. So I just think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think this is actually Shane, feeding us the truth the entire time. And what I mean by that is we heard about these things that he was doing in the offseason, the plays that he was making, the progression that he was making just throughout the offseason. You look at mini camps and OTAs, man, this guy's athletic ability is really what it's advertised to be. And you know what? He does really well on some throws. Hey, some of the throws are errant throws, and I think that's part of just the development process, right? You look at the out route to Pittman where he overthrew a wide open Pittman, right? I think that was a third down. I think that's just one of those things where over time, if it continues to get better and that throw becomes automatic, that's when you start to say, okay, you better watch out because this guy not only has freakish athletic ability, he has the ability to make any type of throw. So I think it's just natural progression of his development. But I think it's also Shane Steichen saying, guys, look, this guy is really developing, and we're starting to see some of those plays. It's not just smoke that's being blown up, or our behinds, like some coaches like to do with potato heads.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna say, and like I said, in response to this comment right here, right? Because it says AR has 10 carries in both games he completed, 3 carries in the game he was injured. It feels like RG3 opening himself to too many hits. Do you think he takes off too much or too often? So, and I mean, I can answer this. I think we can all just kind of chime in on this as well. If you would have asked me this in game 2, I would have said, yeah, there's a chance, yeah. But in this game, there were a couple design runs. There were some design runs out there, but I think what we saw more this time than anything else was that AR was actually standing up in the pocket unless the pocket just completely collapsed. We saw it a lot of times, and like I said, this is also a part of what Aaron Donald does because Aaron Donald also makes it so that he's going to disrupt the pocket very, very easily, and you're disrupting the pocket against only 2 out of 5 linemen who are generally in the lineup. So, I mean, to be able to go in there and just like stay in the pocket and do what he did, I mean, I think he's not taking off as much. And once again, that's also because of Steichen and what he's doing. So, I mean, that's just what I think. But what about you guys?
I mean, I got to comment on this because they've been talking about this since he's been playing out in the league. Why did we draft AR, guys?
He's a freak athlete.
Because he's a freak athlete. Because he could throw the ball for 400 yards by standing on one knee.
Right, but also he can escape out of the pocket.
Right.
And I mean, and they're saying we should do less of that. We didn't get him to do less of anything. We didn't pick him for the overall to minimize like you said, freakish athlete. Why stop now because he's in the league? Some hits aren't avoidable. Like I mean, the one in the pocket with Aaron Donald, he got smashed to the ground. He's in the pocket then. The one against the Texans, he can learn from that because he led up at the end where the safety smashed him and he hit it back his head on the turf. The one against the Jacksonville, I think his lineman fell on him. So it's stuff he can't avoid. He's a scrambling quarterback. So I mean, it's not like he's getting injured all the time. Even Sunday, where I think he tripped over Brady Smith leg. I mean, we got to stop trying to baby this guy. We got him for a reason. Whether it's 10, he rushed for 10 carries a game. That's who he is. If he throw the ball 30 times, the ratio he's throwing the ball more than he's rushing. Lamar rushes the ball more than he passes. So I mean, we got to stop trying to say, okay, minimize who he is when we draft him, and let him be who he is. We can help him, develop him, say, hey, if you see a guy coming, slide or go out of bounds. We can do that, but allow him to run. That's who he is. That's his game. That's all I have.
Yeah, I think the other thing, Robert Griffin III was like 6'2", 212. Anthony Richardson's like 6'5", 250. Like there's a big difference, right? And Robert Griffin III's issues might have began with him running the ball and getting hurt by running the ball. It actually continued and carried on because Robert Griffin III's coaching staff was a bunch of numbnuts.
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah. Yeah, forced him to play when he was hurt. Why he played in that playoff game still makes no sense to this day to me. And that's the game that ruined RG3. So again, I agree with you. You can't just sit there and say, hey, you know what? I know you're this athlete that can throw the ball and you can run a 4.40. I want you to stand in this circle 40 times a game, and I don't want you to do anything else. And it just doesn't. That's basically it's mismanagement of your talent, right? You're not putting these people in the right place to succeed. Now, other coaches like to do that. We see that we've seen that here in the past, but I'm glad Shane is not one of those where he allows AR, and I think that's what works too. He allows AR to be AR.
That's why you got him. I mean, again, it's not like he's running 20 times a game. 10 to 12 is reasonable because he's throwing about 30 times.
Yeah. Chris is on mute. The other mute button. There you go.
I don't know why I'm on mute.
Um,
But you know what? But like, let's also just be very, very happy with what happens, because I know in the offseason I was a big Ben Johnson, then D'Amico Ryan's guy. I think Shane Steichen was probably like the last guy that I thought would be the best thing. But it's looking like the way that this is happening, it's not just the way that he is when it comes to the offense. It's how he's able to, I'm going to say, work with AR. But it's also about the fact that it's just, I think he also brings a certain amount of attitude and accountability. We've seen that after every game that we've played, that there have been certain people that have been, sent to the practice squad, brought up. And then if those guys didn't work the way they were supposed to, it's basically moving guys around and just letting just be like, listen, we could pull you up today and then we could put you on the practice squad next week. You got to show up and you got to deliver. And I think that attitude is infectious. Like, that makes it so that you understand, just be like, oh, I'm not as safe as I thought I was. So this is going, and I think it's just
I do want to add too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Jalen Hurts last year under Shane Steichen, he had almost 170 attempts for 160 yards. I mean, for 760 yards rushing. Did they stop him from running? He's smaller.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, let's also be honest when it comes to that too. Look at Jalen Hurts this year. Other than that tush push that they do, Jalen Hurts doesn't really look the same as he did last year. Last year he was looking like he should have won the MVP.
Yep.
And then this year, it's like he looks good, yeah. But the thing is, you can tell that what was being drawn up and what was potentially being done definitely is not the same as what he's dealing with this year. And I think that makes a huge difference, because like I said, we see how AR is evolving, and also he didn't have as much experience in college, and I think that honestly is working in his favor, because he didn't really get a chance to develop a lot of bad habits. He just pretty much took what they gave him and got a chance to really see like those systems, being able to play against different teams, where now you have Shane Steichen, who is very offensive minded, who is very, very smart from a football standpoint, being able to just mold AR to, what he needs to be in order to actually just reach his maximum potential. Which, I mean, like I said, is extremely underrated, especially now, because like I said, he had 13 games, and yeah, 13 games is not a lot in college, but at the same time, like I said, it's not like, guys like Levis or Jordan Travis or Bo Nix or Stetson Bennett, who are in college for 6 to 8 years, and now we're talking about that they're fantastic. Yeah, they should be fantastic, because they're 24 and 25 now. Like, if you haven't learned anything from playing college ball in 6 years, then like you wouldn't be there.
Right.
So I mean, let's just be, just completely real about that one.
Yeah, I think his rushing attempts will end up evening out. Also, passing attempts are kind of an inflated stat, right? Because they are an inflated stat, because you have all these like RPO bubble screens that actually count as throws, and while you are technically throwing the ball, it's not back in the day like you're just sitting in the pocket flinging it 30, 40 times, 20 yards down the field, right? You got all these little like bubble screens and stuff that technically count as passes.
Gotcha. Okay. So now moving on, because we're gonna talk about some different things other than AR. Now we got some news yesterday, right? And we've been hearing the JT stuff. We've been hearing all that. This is the first week that he was actually able to come off the PUP list. And with that being said, he is, according to Shane Steichen now, they've had conversations. JT is excited to be back with the team. He's going to be back practicing. Super excited. He's going to be back practicing with the team tomorrow.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
They said it counts it's a walkthrough tomorrow.
A walkthrough tomorrow? Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's a walkthrough.
Well then let him go through the walkthrough tomorrow. Let him go through the walkthrough. That's fine. But they asked if he'd potentially be able to play on Sunday. And from what we understand, that's the plan. So how much?
I thought you were praying.
No, I'm not praying. I promise. But how much did social media play a role into this whole Jonathan Taylor debacle?
All of it. The whole entire damn thing.
Are we sure it's over?
Well, we don't know yet until he plays.
I want to see him play, and I want to see. Because look, you could be playing the next 4 weeks to make it look good for the trade deadline. He could be playing the next 16 weeks or 13 weeks or however much it is to make it look good for the off season. I don't think this is over until he signs the extension or he gets traded.
It's the deadline this month, right?
The
trade deadline is the last week of October or first week of November, one of those two.
This is week 5 coming up, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means that the last week to get any type of trading in is week 8, and then week 9 trades cut off. Yep. So that means that he would have until, and I believe it's like that Tuesday. So he does have until the end of this month to potentially be traded.
Yeah, so that would put us at 4 weeks from today.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 weeks from today.
But let me just hypothetically say, right? JT comes back. JT and Moss become a dynamic duo in terms of the rushing. You see that the game's flowing, the offense is flowing a little bit. The offense is flowing better with JT, let's just say. You think if he goes and he balls out, let's just say over the next 3, maybe 4 games, they end up going ahead and signing him to an extension?
It could happen. They just want to see how he is in offense. If he does like they say he does, then I'm sure they will. Or wait till off season. I mean, because we really don't do things in season anyway. We don't sign guys in season. It's either beginning or the end.
No, we signed guys in season.
Who was it?
Nelson was signed in season last year.
Yeah, Quentin Nelson got a
yes, you're right.
Quentin Nelson got his on the Saturday before the game. So
yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Man.
So I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not outside the scope. But once again, if he comes in and everything's going, and I think especially if you see how he works with AR.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, you see exactly like how he's able, how they gel, you see how they become, you see how, like, if the option just becomes absolutely like flatlining on defenses, making them just go misdirection, if it looks that good, I don't see why they wouldn't. Because the thing is, it's like, I know that JT hasn't been there, but if you see that there's a natural chemistry there that will allow this offense to run better, or I'm going to say have to play better, because Zach Moss has been doing well. Don't get me wrong at all. But you see exactly how this team is able to run. And if you see that this team, if they're good, play action's good, they run jet sweeps, they have all those concepts, and then that opens things up for the passing game. Do you think that there would be a logical case for them not to just go ahead and say, hey, let's just get this done now?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, you definitely want him to get to the offseason where he's a a free agent to where he can pick his own team. So you definitely want to try to lock him up because that's what they wanted to do anyway. It was just the timing of it. He initially said he'll wait till the season over to negotiate contract. Then he turned around and said, "I want it now." So I'm a firm believer that if he plays the way he's been playing, like 2021 season, that they can get it done.
Yeah,
Man,
this is true.
I think if JT really wants to re-sign and the Colts really want to give him the money, I don't see why they wait at all. I don't see why they just say, "Hey, you passed your physical, you practiced before this weekend." When they give him this extension, like I think if they're all that serious about it, I think that's when it gets done.
Okay.
As soon as they're all on the same page about, "Hey, let's get this done." That could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be 3 or 4 weeks. It could be the end of the house. I think it just comes down to, is JT still interested? Are the Colts still interested? And if whenever those two things align is when it occurs. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't occur. I still think that's the point that we're at.
Okay. All right, that's fair. And then finally, got some injury news. We know Dallas Flowers the other day in the game. He kind of pulled up on a play, non-contact injury. Come to find out, it is a torn Achilles, so out for the year. So, and you know what? Let's not fool ourselves, okay? Chris Ballard isn't going to trade for nobody. Let's just get that out the way now. I know that he went and signed off for somebody's practice squad because bargain bin Ballard is going to bargain bin Ballard. But ideally, there's a few cornerbacks who are still out there. There's guys like Casey Hayward, Byron Jones. I think Greedy Williams is still out there.
Neither. They all sit on their ass. They're not bringing.
Chris isn't even going to give you a call, so they don't even try to talk to your agent. Don't even do none of that.
I'm mad about that because the guys that we had on free agency, like Yasin got $3 million to the Ravens. Marcus Peters got like $4 to $6 million to go to the Raiders. He's been playing decent. I know he's old, but he would have fit well with us. We had opportunity to get him. But the guys that are on there now, like Greedy Williams, old ass Casey Hayward, injury prone Byron Jones, they get cooked all the time in Dallas and in Miami. No.
Fair enough.
Wow.
All right,
and then how you really feel.
Yeah. Okay, I'll shut up now. That's fine. I'm
sorry, man.
But I do hope we give Jalen Jones a chance to actually play instead of just on special teams, other than just Darryl Baker.
Yeah, because the Darryl Baker experiment, I'm souring on it. I'm souring on the Darryl Baker experiment. Darryl Baker is looking like the cornerback version of Julian Davenport.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm not going to go back into this. Colts versus Titans is on Sunday. Listen, we're going to have our analysis. So what are the keys? What are the keys to victory, Austin?
Making sure Darryl Baker doesn't play.
Yo,
I'm going to call him Greg Toller.
Shut up. Yo, shut your face. Okay, listen. Can we not go back to that?
I'm sorry.
Because he's an absolute bum.
You started it, so I have to think.
No, because you know what? I went over this. I actually had this argument with Dan Jokic on Twitter like 2 weeks ago, and literally he was just like, "Oh yeah, he blocked me."
No, I thought that's usually what happens when you argue with Dan Jokic on Twitter.
Oh.
No, we didn't argue because then he knows that I would have roasted him. He doesn't have
you a blog boy.
He didn't.
Blogger boy.
Blogger boy. By the way, Blogger boy shirts are coming. Okay, just want to let you know. I would absolutely love. I'm gonna trademark that. I'm gonna copyright that shit. But the thing, we're not going back to the Greg Toller thing, okay? So let's just do this. So Austin, keys to victory against the Titans, who right now offensively are really just not the best. I think passing defense, they're bottom 5. Their front 7 though, I think rush defense, I think they're top 5 right now. So how do you go about neutralizing all of that you know now?
Yeah, so hopefully our offensive line is healthier this week than we were last week. And our run game is just decent. It doesn't have to be great, just decent. Because I think our pass game will be fine against the Titans. And if we have a decent run game, I'm not worried about this game at all. And then just containing Derrick Henry. He had a good week last week, his first good game of the year. And just make sure he doesn't have another one against us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last week, little known fact, last week he actually had a higher passer rating than Ryan Tannehill. Bet you didn't know that.
Awesome. Let him throw the ball 40 times. I think it'll go really well for the Titans.
Yes. What about you, Harish? Keys to victory.
Show up.
Oh. Okay. Fair. All right.
Just get on the field and you'll be fine. Listen, I think Ryan Tannehill throws 4 interceptions next week.
I can see that.
And I think 2 of them will be right to a linebacker, and the other 2 will sail over the wide receiver and hit his safety straight in the hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just show up. That's all you got to do. I mean, offensively, I think that the interesting thing this week, and if JT plays, JT historically hasn't had it. He might have had one good game against the Titans, but he hasn't historically played well against the Titans. So I'd be interested to see how they use him this week. Do they unleash him? Do they say full go? Do they, work him in with Zach Moss? I think that'd be interesting just to see how that works out. And then I also think if JT gets into the game, I think we'll see some true read option this week where Anthony Richardson will keep some. He'll hand some off to JT. I think one of the keys is to see if JT plays, and if he does, what that looks like, because I think it's something they've been waiting for.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Josh?
I mean, we know everybody know we got to stop 22 in the backfield. We got to stop him. Limit his 150, 200 rushing yard games. And you know what Ryan Tannehill does. He's going to try to force the ball to. I'm not sure if Burt's going to play, but he's going to force the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. That's has been his downfall all year, but forcing it to the same guy over and over and over and over. And that's where he's getting those picks or overthrows or underthrows, being very inefficient. So you do that, you got a chance to win. I mean, we've got turnovers against them. We just didn't cash in a lot when Frank Reich was there. I think Shane Steichen can do a better job in calling those plays, taking those field goals when need to, and be aggressive on 4th down, as he always has in every game. And we got to establish a run. I don't care how well of a defensive run stopper they are. Still run the ball. I don't care. Eventually, we're gonna get some runs. We're gonna crack some runs. Was that Kareem Hunt came out the street and stumped their ass into the mud?
Yeah.
So he was literally didn't have a job then. Just establish a run. I mean, we got a quarterback that can extend plays when need to, and he can make some passes. Go at Christian Fulton. They want his ass cut anyway. He's been a bomb in a secondary. They don't really have a real threat in secondary other than Byard.
Yeah.
So attack it with all your weapons. We didn't have weapons like this, a couple years ago. So I like our chances, and we established the run, and then distribute across the field in our receivers and tight ends. Tight ends had a great grade. I think they had they was top grade in the whole entire NFL. And for us, I think it was PFF. So exploit the matchups.
And you know what? I will also say this. The biggest thing that I think is going to end up being overlooked with this matchup is the fact that, Reich was an analytical mess, whereas Steichen he's going to see what you're giving him, and then he's going to be able to adapt to it. I think the biggest thing that he does and that he's been able to do well is he's been able to take those small samplings of what a team is doing and then be able to just go and just continue to build on it. And, I think the biggest thing that he can possibly do in this matchup is to understand exactly what, the Titans are going to throw at us. It's him understanding that, hey, we can really just go ahead and chew clock a lot. Mind you, JT was drafted in the Frank Reich era, and then he basically had to run in the Frank Reich era. But now you see that Zach Moss is clipping off, almost, I think he's at like 4.1 yards per game or 4.2 yards per game or per carry, blah. And with him being at that, with Zach Moss being more of a power back, I think now you're actually going to get a chance to see that part of the offensive playbook that has JT being able to do a lot more when it comes to the runs, do a lot more when it comes to the options, play actions, things like that. So I think honestly we're going to see what the offense was truly meant to be prior to JT not being able to play.
Zach Moss is top 10 in rushing.
Yes, he is.
So,
Yeah,
Zach Moss. Awesome. And little known fact that Titans fans, no, he's number 9.
Okay.
He's ninth, and so he's ninth with 280 yards.
Okay.
Derrick Henry,
he's 10. He's behind Kenneth.
He's behind Kenneth. Oh no. Oh yeah, because Kenneth Walker just went last night. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So and the thing, and it's crazy because Titans fans were talking about, well, where's JT? I'm just like, you need to be worried about Zach Moss because Zach Moss has 5 less yards than Derrick Henry does, and he also played 1 less game.
it took a game last week for him to get to that.
Exactly. And so with that being said, guys, because like I said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wrap it up. But what do we have for predictions for this game coming up?
I got us winning 27-17. We're not losing 3 games in a row at home. Nope, not happening.
Okay. What about you, Austin?
Yeah, so I have us winning 31-17.
Okay. What about you, Harish?
Yeah, I was winning like 65-4.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Probably, I don't know. Like, I'd probably say like 29-17, 30-17, something like that. I just Ryan Tannehill will throw them out of the game. So yeah. I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah. You know what? I changed my mind. I changed my prediction. All right. I like 31-17.
You're feeling confident, Chris. I like that.
Yeah, appreciate you, my boy. All right. So then with that being said, we are now going to get up out of here. So guys, tell the people where they can find you, starting with you, Austin.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CookieAustin2.
All right. What about you, Josh?
You find me on Twitter at official Josh Senior.
All right. What about you, Harish?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at the Uncle Gandhi, and then of course tune in Thursday for a very, very special Texas versus OU edition of the Longhorn Fan Battle Network. But yeah,
nice. Thursday nights, what time? Uh-oh. All right, so Thursday nights,
I think it's 8:30 Eastern, I think.
8:30 Eastern? Yeah, 8:30 Eastern. So yeah, let's go with that. Yep. All right, and there we go. There he is.
8:30 Central. Sorry,
8:30
my
Central.
connection just blanked out. Yeah, so 9:30 Eastern.
Okay. All right, and then you can find me on Twitter at CJ Colts Fan. You can also find any of us on AFC South Fan Battle. That is now on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And with all that being said, people, hey, we appreciate you. Like I said, Colts getting a big division win this weekend. But other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And as always, you